Hey y'all, it's your old Coach Kinsley. Today we're going to talk about a fitness plateau. What is it and how do you overcome it?
Welcome to 15-Minute Fitness Fix with Coach Kinsley. I'm producer Mike, senior editor for the podcast, and a former client of Coach Kinsley's who benefited from every rep until I heard,
3, 2, 1, let's go! Remember to always consult your physician before starting any nutrition or fitness regimen.
Hi, Coach Kinsley. So I just ended 6 months straight resistance training, but the last 2 of those months, I felt like I hit a speed bump. I was consistent in my workouts and my macronutrients, my nutrition. I was crushing it. So I was consistently bumping up my weight after sets and then ghosted. Am I just being my usual cranky old man self and having my expectations not met? I mean, what's going on?
It sounds like you hit a plateau. So I would describe a plateau as the leveling off of your progress. And that could be in strength in your case with resistance training, or it could be, a leveling off of weight loss progress in other cases. And it usually occurs around 4 to 6 months into a routine. So that sounds like the diagnosis that I would give you. You have hit a fitness plateau.
But I don't want to hit a fitness plateau. What is there something I can do? Or, I mean,
So you mentioned how you would consistently add more weight to the movements you were doing, and that is great. So that is something that we would call progressive overload.
I know you guys call it progressive overload. I just call it putting heavier weights on. So is there reasoning behind it other than, making me work harder? Whatevs.
So that is the point. So progressive overload is a technique that involves gradually increasing the difficulty of a workout over time. And usually this will help you not hit a plateau because you're gradually increasing the difficulty or the intensity. So you're challenging your body to adjust to more. And that's where we're going to see a lot of that muscle growth. But there comes a point in your fitness lifting journey where it doesn't make sense for your joints to handle more weight, but you still want to increase the intensity of your workout.
So what does that mean exactly? Because I know sometimes my muscle can't handle it, let alone my joints.
So that means that we need to find a different way to increase the intensity of your workout without it necessarily being adding more weights. One thing I would suggest is to switch up the routine completely. Shock your body. So, right now, you're saying that you've been doing resistance training. We always want to keep resistance training for the sake of keeping our bones strong. And the stronger your muscles supporting your bone, the stronger your bones are, that bone density. And that is going to keep you safe as you age. So we definitely want to continue resistance training, but you should change how you do it. So it sounds like you were doing lower reps, higher weights, and then continuing to add weights. Does that sound right?
That's the way I was doing it.
So, like I mentioned, you can increase the intensity without increasing the weights. So, what you can do in your case is practically keep the same weight, maybe lighten up a little bit, but do more reps. So now you're just getting more volume. You are moving more weights that day because you're doing more reps. Or
Now, hang on, Coach Kinsley. I don't want to get gun shy about losing my gains that I had. Is that going to happen if I quit adding weight? Or I don't want to get weaker, especially if I'm hitting a plateau or whatever. I need to get stronger so I can plow through it, right? Or am I not thinking about that the right way?
you definitely won't get weaker by adding more reps. You're making the workout harder by adding more reps. But let's say that you're using such a heavy weight that you can't add more reps. We still want to increase the intensity, but you can drop some weight and increase the intensity by spending more time with your weights.
What do you mean by spending more time with the weights? I'm spending enough time as it is, I thought.
So, what I mean is getting you to muscular hypertrophy. So, we've talked about it before. It often begins time under tension. So, what I mean by increasing the time instead of the tension would look like doing a 3 count or 5 count before you set the weight down. Let's say that you're doing a row, you're in an inclined position or a hinge, right? Chest facing the ground, and then you're bringing the barbell towards your belly button, leading back with your elbows and squeezing your back. Instead of just releasing it and bringing it back down, you're going to count 3, 2, 1, and slowly drop it. So you're spending more time with that weight.
So necessarily, you're not saying to do 50 reps of something, you're just saying to do a slower rep, getting, I guess, if I remember, eccentric? Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Well, there you go.
eccentric is the way down. You got it. So, spending more time with the same amount of weight will intensify your workout. And that's what I mean when I was saying there comes a point in time where adding more weight doesn't make sense for your joints. So, you can keep the same weight, but make it more intense of a workout and get you out of the plateau by taking more time with that weight or more time with that same tension. Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't do 50 reps though. That is another way to get you out of the plateau, is to bust out a ton of reps.
That is a ton of reps. And when you say 50, you mean like maybe 4 sets of 14 or something? Are you talking literally 1 set of 50 or 4 sets of 50? That's not too much, is it? Or is it wasting my time?
No. Oh, it is not a waste of time. The more reps you can get, that is more volume on those muscles. So that is still going to put you into hypertrophy. That is still going to grow your muscles if you bust out a ton of reps.
So that's progressive overload, right? Or is that not progressive overload?
I would not consider that progressive overload because the overload part of that is considering increasing the weight, not increasing the reps or the number of reps.
Okay, so what do we call what you just described? Or did we say it and I forgot?
I would consider that your training volume, volume referring to the number of reps. So if you increase your training volume, you are increasing the number of reps.
Okay, the fog is starting to clear a bit. So by doing more reps for a while, I'm going to shock my muscles. I'm going to get them a little stronger because eventually I want to start crushing heavier weight. What kind of time frame am I looking at in this? Is it 6 weeks? It's not another 6 months. I hope. I hope it's sooner than that because I'd like to get to heavier stuff eventually.
Well, you can do your heavier things, just spending more time with it. If you really don't want to drop the weights, just use the same weight and go slow. But for all of muscle shocking and plateauing, you should not do the same program for more than 4 to 6 months without either increasing your volume or increasing your time or increasing your tension. You will plateau. Does that make sense?
It does. I have another question then about nutrition, which I was crushing during my resistance training phase, I guess, where I was increasing the weight. Do I need to eat more if I'm going a longer period of time under tension? Instead of increasing the tension, I'm increasing the time. Do I need to eat more to manage that? Can I just go with my regular stuff?
When you are doing an experiment on yourself practically, right, to see how you get out of a plateau, I would only change one thing at a time. So if you're changing your fitness routine and it's the same tension, the same amount of weight, but you're just spending more time with it, I would stick with the nutrition that you're doing right now to see how your body reacts, just changing the workout alone. Because if you change both, you're not going to know which one made the big change, right? But you could get out of a plateau by only changing your nutrition if you love the workout you're doing.
Hmm. I guess I'd have to experiment between the 2. Although, I mean, if I love my nutrition though, Coach Kinsley, is that what I need to stay on if and I can just change up my routine? The volume that I put out is the volume I put out on the nutrition that I'm on. I kinda hate messing with my nutrition if it's working. I'd rather mess with my workout routine because I know at least I'm putting in the work.
Then do that. Increase the intensity of your workout with either more volume or more reps, more time or more tension, and then keep your nutrition the same. But if you want to keep your fitness routine, you just love it, or maybe you're training specifically for a sport that requires you to do the same type of training, the same plyometrics, the same agility, the same routine to keep good at that sport, then in that case, I would suggest changing your nutrition.
Maybe I wanna change my nutrition. Coach Kinsley, how do I go about changing that and still making sure that I'm hitting what I'm looking at as far as macronutrients go?
So it does depend on your goals. So I'm going to give some general advice here. If you drop the amount of calories you're taking in, you will lose weight. Now, if you drop the amount of calories you're taking in and increase your protein, you will lose fat and gain muscle. Now, if you keep the amount of calories that you are eating and increase your protein, then you will just gain muscle. So those are 3 ways that you can change your nutrition instead of your fitness regimen if those are your goals and to get you out of that fitness plateau.
So, coach, I always get stuck on when I hear lose fat because that's what I had been focusing on for so many years. Now that I'm not going to focus on it, what would a meal look like where I want to continue to build muscle through volume?
If you're focusing on muscle growth, would be protein focused. You'll want to make sure you are eating complete proteins as well as some carbs. So, if you are a meat eater, then fish with some green beans and rice would be a beautiful meal. And you don't even really need the rice if you have enough green beans because your green beans are carbs as well. It just has all those micronutrients that you need. But if you're going to be hitting, a 2-hour workout, you'll want some carbs for that fuel. And I would keep that rice, keep those grains. Now, if you don't eat meat, you can still create a meal that is a complete protein by having rice and beans. And then I would also add some more vegetables to that.
So, Coach Kinsley, hit the highlights for us.
The highlights. If you are hitting a fitness plateau, you can get out of it by changing your fitness or your nutrition. You can change your fitness and still get into muscular hypertrophy by increasing your volume or your reps, spending more time with your weights, or increasing your tension. If you would like to adjust through the nutrition route, you can lower all your calories for losing weight, or you can lower your calories and increase your protein for losing fat and gaining muscle. Or you can keep your calories the same and increase your protein for focusing just on muscle gain. If you're in a fitness plateau, you can change your fitness or your nutrition to get out of it. Thank you so much for joining us today on 15-Minute Fitness Fix with Coach Kinsley. The fun doesn't need to stop here. Email me at coach@coachkinsley.com. You can check out my webpage, coachkinsley.com, and also find me on Instagram at, you guessed it, Coach Kinsley. Your girl. See you next week. Boom.